Hey there, beer tubers! Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host Maxwell Starr here tonight with tonight's beer, which we're taking it back to the Busch era tonight with Busch Ice. Oh boy! Now let's see who crashed this party tonight. We've got with us on the panel here. We got Mr. On the 10th, Chris. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm off the 10th, but maybe.
Oh, right, you're off the 10th. You're not.
We're off the 10th
building anymore.
Not on the. Yeah, we're not on the 10th anymore. Yeah, thanks, Nick, for having me on the show today. And you know what? With all kidding aside and stuff like that, it is 9/11, and you know what? I totally, it happened so many years ago, but we still all remember that tragic day. So,
yeah, any jokes we make tonight are all in good humor. It's just poor taste on our accounts, I guess. All right, moving on, Mr. Ashley Sexton. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing great.
Present?
Oh, I'm present. I'm here.
Are you finding a cold at your mall yet?
Shut your fucking face.
You can't even make it to work right now.
Oh, God. All right, and we also have Mr. Shercock Bones, Lee of High Tide and Vibe. How are you doing tonight?
As a strong foundation of the original beer tube, I refuse to make crass jokes. I want to stand tall and not bring the sort of level of this show to crashing halt on the ground somewhere. So I'm really disgusted by this shit you're trying to pull, Nick. It's gross, and I'm here on by protest, but I'm going to try to keep it classy,
Mm-hmm. Just had to ram that in the ground, didn't you?
Among other things.
All right, so we also have Mr. Greg with us tonight. How you doing tonight, Greg?
I don't think there's anything I can say at this point that won't be offensive, so I'll just say happy 9/11, y'all.
Greg, your sheer presence here is always offensive, but we love you anyway.
Thanks, Nick. I hope we have a blast tonight.
All right. And, of course, Mr. Guy, who suggested to this week's beer, we are doing Busch Ice. This is your idea, so it's also good.
I like how I said Busch. Nick is like, yes. I was like, wait a minute. It's all Guy's idea. Okay, the farts.
Well,
wow.
That was
a journey.
That was a journey. All right, so premature beer opening here. Let's go back to me here. All right, so let's get down to the beer history here. We're, of course, doing Busch Ice tonight, but what is the story behind Busch Ice? Well, as the Anheuser-Busch Brewery has been already covered on our Budweiser and Michelob Ultra episodes, we won't go too deep into their history. We won't examine it several times to get the point across, but Anheuser-Busch began as the Bavarian brewery in St. Louis, Missouri, opened in 1852 by George Snyder and bought out by Eberhard Anheuser in 1860. Adolphus Busch came along shortly after, marrying into Anheuser's family, and began working for Anheuser following the Civil War. Adolphus Busch would assume control of the brewery after the death of Anheuser and would lead the brewery into the 20th century. Today, Anheuser-Busch is part of the Belgian brewing conglomerate AB InBev, which is the largest of such in the world. In 1955, Anheuser-Busch introduced the Busch Bavarian Lager, their first new beer since the end of Prohibition in 1933. Busch Bavarian Lager, which was later simplified to just Busch Beer in 1979, is a 4.3% ABV pale lager introduced as an economy brand. Busch was later followed up with Busch Light in 1989, and during the ice beer craze in the 1990s, Busch Ice was introduced in 1995. Busch has since become Anheuser-Busch's second most popular brand of beer below the Budweiser line. Anyway, so Busch Ice is a 5.9% ice brewed lager, which is 6% in Canada, where during the brewing process, the beer is chilled to a temperature below freezing, and then the ice crystals that form are filtered from the beer, giving it a sweeter, smoother finish with a stronger alcohol content. The American version of Busch Ice contains 136 calories, 1 gram of protein, and 4.2 grams of carbohydrates, so it's not terrible in its caloric content. It is brewed, of course, for the Canadian market by Labatt. All right, so moving right along, we only have one or two real comments from Eric Gilbert in the chat. Who wants to read them? Ashley?
I'll read them.
All right, cool.
All right, Eric Gilbert says, cheers, hurricane survivors. Well, I'm basically technically the only hurricane survivor here, I think, right? It didn't really touch any of you fuckers. So
I ripped up a whole bunch of trees in St. John. We did get kind of hit by it, but no,
we don't
Nova Scotia did.
we don't count New Brunswick in the conversation, Nick.
Yeah.
And Eric Gilbert says, cheers, Chris, because Chris said hello, viewers, which there are only like 2. So there you go.
Yeah. Sorry, Lee. All right.
No, you're not. You did that on purpose.
No, but no, I was trying to hit the wrong one. I forgot that I was full screened. Okay, so now let's go over to Chris, who's currently physicing this beer.
I did. That's a beautiful head on this beer. I've never had this before.
Really? You never had Busch before?
Not that I remember. No, maybe my dad used to jump over the river and buy a bunch of it when we were younger, but couldn't remember. So I've never had Busch or Busch Ice or Busch Light or any of the Bushes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Never really gravitated towards it.
True enough. All right, let's go over to Ash. What's your history with Busch?
I slammed my first Busch in about 3 weeks ago at the in-laws.
Nice.
Or Busch Ice, I'm sorry. I'm surprised. I completely forgot it. It was that memorable of an experience.
Nice.
But thank God for Untapped and other apps that chronicle our lives and every step that we take. And there we go. So there we go. So yeah, like literally. Well, actually, it was like August 9th or some dumb shit like that. That's all I got.
All right, so we've got Lee, who I think has a bit more history than the rest of us when it comes to Busch. And I don't mean...
well, regular Busch, yeah, not Busch Ice. So the regular Busch, when we used to still get the American version, used to give me really bad headaches whenever I drink it. But it was like the cheapest fucking shit on the shelf back in the day. You could buy like 8 for like under $10 or something like that at one point, which was pretty amazing. But yeah, as far as Busch Ice, I have no history with it. Like the whole ice beer craze of the 90s kind of passed me by for the most part. I only had like a choice few examples here and there, but Busch Ice was never one of them. So actually, I think I only started really drinking any Busch Ice in the last year or so, maybe, just because it came back to the NSLC, and again, price was right. So there you go.
Right on. All right, so let's move over to Mr. Greg, which, I don't know, you have a history with Busch? Well, I know you have a history with Busch, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
talking
mean,
about the president or the...
I was going to say that my first girlfriend was real lazy and she just wasn't. Oh, wait, sorry, we're not talking about that kind of Busch. No, it's. I have literally no experience with Busch, Busch Ice, any other Busch products. To my knowledge, they've never entered my mouth. To my
All
knowledge.
right. Okay, that's great. All right, move along to Mr. Gee, who you must have had this before you suggested this.
Busch, I had it in the US probably like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. I don't remember. It tastes like a water, and I reviewed the Buschise with the radar on January 20th, 20th. Buschise, January 20th, 2016. I probably liked it because probably drunk our fucking minds back then. So it's probably a good beer from what I can't remember.
Nice. All right, and let's move back over to me, of course, who is sort of not really the star of the show, but my history with Busch is that I had the regular Busch years ago. I can't even remember exactly the year. I know that I did a review for the channel that I'm looking for the review. I don't think I ever uploaded it. And it was a review that I did with Heist Almighty and the Fuzz, in which... And I really need to find this video if I haven't uploaded, because I really should, because it's funny. Because we ended up trying to count how many times we could say Busch in one episode.
How juvenile.
A different way. I know, we were very juvenile back then. And that had to have been like 2013 or something like that. Anyway, so moving right along. Now I'm trying Busch Ice for the first... Well, not necessarily for the first time, because I bought a 12-pack of this over the weekend, and I've currently drank half of it. I won't get into what I think of the beer, other than, it goes down easy, I guess. All right, so let's move over to the comments and go back to Mr. Shercock Bones, who will read the remainder.
All right. Massive Beer Reviews. Matt is in the chat, and he says, I'm both extremely embarrassed yet fantastically proud of myself that I can say with 1,000% confidence that I put in the most effort to find this gym than any other beer in recent history. Eric Gilbert asks, will it physics? And we will find out very soon. Massive Beer Reviews says, and even then, though I failed, but it's the effort that counts, apparently. So there you go. Yeah, amazing you couldn't find this. And Eric Gilbert says, never had Busch, but I have had Busch. I mean, the Belgian brand. So there's a Belgian brand called BUS, just BUSH.
BUTCH?
BUSH.
All right.
Spelt Bush, like the real way Bush is spelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Interesting.
there we go. The unaired episode here
Ouch.
of Bush back in 2013.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
There must have been some reason why I never
Is
uploaded
one
it.
of them the Fuzz?
Yeah, that's the Fuzz is the
Oh,
blue
that's
shirt
the
on the
Fuzz.
yeah,
never knew
and
the
Heist
Fuzz.
Almighty is the other guy in the sandals. This is a
Okay.
long time ago.
Is it because he steals stuff and he has like really good heists?
I don't
Really well, like in Grand Theft Auto.
Anyway, let's move right along. So let's go. We've read the comments. Are any of us really ready to give some thoughts on this whole thing?
Are you ready for us to give
Are
us
you
your
ready?
thoughts?
All right.
Give you our thoughts?
Okay. Well, let's go over to Chris and say, what do you think of this beer physics?
Wow, it's crazy. Look at the lacing on this glass. It's hard to see, but it physicsed actually pretty good. The head on it was like a Guinness head, but the rest of the body is just super thin.
Would you say maybe in a Christopher Walken voice, the ice is gonna break?
Oh no, you just did it for me. It's even better.
Yeah, but my Christopher Walken's terrible.
So was mine. Anyway, what this needs is more cowbell. Wow. Hot. Anyway, it's just like any other adjunct lager. It goes down super easy. Actually, to be quite honest with you, and I know this is going to sound really stupid, or maybe not so stupid, but this is actually probably one of the better adjunct lagers I've had in a while, to be honest with you. It actually is quite refreshing. Just, it's got that corn syrupy taste. I mean, it's super, it's super carbonated. The physics machine brought down, I sonicated it. There you go, trademark. And you know what? It gave it a nice little head on it, but it didn't really do much to the body. It's not supposed to anyway. And yeah, it's super, super easy to drink. I mean, it's nothing offensive, to be honest with you. I'm sure though, once this warms up, if it gets actually warm enough, it's going to start tasting like ass, but I will make sure that doesn't happen. For style, for an adjunct lager, it is what it is. Oh, it does what it's supposed to do. It drinks like it's supposed to drink. I'm gonna have to give it an 8 for an adjunct lager. I mean, it's not terrible and it's not super great. And for my overall enjoyment, it's not bad. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. If somebody handed me this at a party or whatever, and I wouldn't turn it down. I mean, if there was anything else better, I would go for it. But if somebody gave me this, I'd be like, all right, I'm cool with it.
Wow. This is heading
8 and 7
to territory already.
Well, it is.
All right. Let's go over to Ash. He seems less impressed than the first.
Yeah, this is. I fucking hate ice beers. I just can't stand them. There's like, yeah, it's super easy to drink. It goes down easy. It's wet. It's cold right now. When it gets warm, the syrupy sweetness from it that comes with iced beers is just going to drive me even more nuts. It's driving me nuts right now. I can't stand that there's very little to no bitterness to it. I can't stand the residual sweetness that I get off of it. And it's got, the watery finish is just not a pleasant beer for me. I'm not even going to say anything more about that. I'm going to stick by the rating I gave on Untappd, like a few weeks ago. For personal preference or personal enjoyment, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10. And I'm just going to lump this in with lagers. I can't call an ice lager a style. So for a lager, this is marginal at best. So I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Oof, brutal. Well, so much for being MGD Part 2.
Harsh.
Harsh.
I guess.
All right, Mr. Lee, what do you say?
Yeah, this isn't. I've had a lot worse. I've had a lot worse. As far as, and I will include it as, ice lager or whatever, ice beer as a fucking style. Maybe not Eisenbach or whatever, but like a North American ice beer. It's actually probably one of the better ones, one of the smoother drinking ones, one that doesn't have like any sort of alcohol taste coming through on it. Yeah, it doesn't have any bitterness, which would be really nice, but you kind of expect that with the extra sugars and everything like that, that it's going to kind of finish a little sweet. And it does finish a little sweet, but I don't find it cloying at all. It's fine. It's corn soda, just base corn soda with more alcohol that you can't really detect. So, I mean, it's good as a sort of utility beer, especially if you have no money. I think it's cheaper than Bud Light Platinum, which is essentially the exact same thing here. What they're trying to do anyway is the exact same thing, trying to make a super smooth ice beer. And this is it. It's exactly the same thing. Now, so for style, I'd probably throw a 9 at it as far as style goes. I mean, it's one of the more agreeable, easy to drink ice beers I've ever had. As far as my personal enjoyment, I'd throw a 5 at it. It's like, oh, I've only got $20 that I can spend on beer today. Okay, well, I'll buy an 8-pack of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be fucking touching this shit. So, yeah, 5.
Nice. All right, sorry, just writing down thought. All right, so let's go over to Mr. Greg.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. What do you think of this beer?
This beer's okay. It's an adjunct lager. It doesn't taste particularly strong of corn syrup, which is a good thing. It's not as of this point. It's been out of the fridge. I took it out at 9:10, so it's been out of the fridge for 17 minutes. So it's still relatively cold. I'm not getting too much sweetness out of it, which is a good thing. I suspect at room temperature this beer would completely fall apart. It would be awful, but I wouldn't want to really drink it at room temperature regardless. Even the best lager I wouldn't want to drink at room temperature. So yeah, actually, I'm rather impressed with it as an adjunct lager. It's certainly not the best I've ever had, but it's probably one of the better ones. I'm going to throw an 8 at it for style of adjunct lager, which would probably put it in my grand spectrum, probably right at the top for American adjuncts, up there with like MGD and stuff like that. Probably not as good as some European lagers, European adjunct lagers. I don't know if that's even a thing. Anyway, European lagers in general. I don't think it's as good as a lot of European lagers. Probably better than some, though. And personal enjoyment, I don't know. It's a lager. Let's bump up the score. Give it a 6. Why not?
Nice. All right, so 8 and 6 for Greg, right?
I'm not Guy.
I know. Polish. All right, so let's go over. Speaking of French, let's go over to Guy. What do you think of this beer?
I do get the light corn. It's almost wrapped in light tinfoil at the aftertaste on the sides of the mouth.
Metallic
But
corn.
by Fiddle Tits on a Norwegian sandwich, this goes down easy, much like Lee spotting a red-headed mermaid during a storm. So it's very enjoyable and easy. So I guess for style, I give it maybe like 6 out of 10. Enjoyment, sure. I had this warmer earlier. It warmed up. It's fine. So I'll just get it 8 out of 10 for personal enjoyment.
So yours the other way around from Greg. You're 6 and an 8.
Yes, because we were 6 and 9 all the time with Greg.
That's right.
6-9. God. All right, so let's go back. Come on, StreamYard. What the hell are you doing? All right, there we go. Okay, my personal opinion on this thing. Well, you know what? As far as the budget beer goes, I think Lee already pointed out that this thing's a super cheap beer. I mean, it's a 12-pack here. for like $22.49 or something, which is ridiculously low price.
Like literally the cheapest beer you can get in like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, I think.
Yeah, and as far as cheap beer goes, that's actually a really good option. I find that it's like what other people have said. This thing goes really down quite easy. There is a little bit more added sweetness to the back, but again, like Lee said, it's not cloying. It doesn't overpower. And I've had the opportunity to drink several of these in a row because I was bored as shit over the weekend, and I drank several of these to get drunk. And you know what? It doesn't really, the sweetness doesn't really add up. I find this actually to be a really enjoyable beer, and even when it warms up a bit, it still doesn't become complete corn soda. Let's not get it wrong. I mean, this is corn fucking soda, like almost like the definition of corn soda. But as far as like an ice beer goes, this is probably one of the better options, and one of the best ice beers you can get. Like I'm trying to think of the other ones, like Moosehead Dry Ice. In comparison, like when you consider all the other budget lagers, this is actually a really solid one to go with. Where was it going with this?
I feel that's a compliment, like saying that's the best STD ridden hooker I can get.
Yes, yeah, it's like if you're gonna go get a Wendy, this is the best Wendy you can get. Breaking Bad reference there. All right, so personally for me, as far as ice beers goes, if you were to classify ice beer, like North American ice beer, as a style, I find this is one of the best ones. I'm going to give that an 8 for the style. Personal enjoyment, it's okay. I would prefer to drink something else, but like for the price, I would drink this. If you're looking for a beer, that's the point I was trying to make. If you're looking for a beer that's going to get you drunk, you're looking for like Molson Cold Shots or that Budweiser shot or Moose Dry Ice or something like that, or any kind of ice beer, Molson Triple X. This is probably your best option to go with because this is actually a palatable beer. The only beer that would probably work better for the job is like Fax 10 because it might be cloyingly sweet, but at the same time it's 10% and you don't have to drink as many. But that's if you're trying to get drunk, or if you're just looking for a beer to chug at a barbecue or something super cheap and it's easy to drink. So so I'm going to give it a 6 for personal enjoyment.
Yeah, if any of my drunk homies, the old men that show up at the NSLC like right before it opens and they walk out with like a can of Fax 10%, stop yourself for a minute. Go get yourself some Busch Ice. You get yourself 8 tall boys instead of 1. A lot more beer to mix with whatever cheap hooch you got sitting in your fucking car. Take off of that. You got yourself like not just a day. You probably got yourself like 2 days right there of just sustained buzz. So get it going.
It's all about fuel economy.
Wow. Nick, I know this is unprecedented. We've never done this on beer analysis, but I do need to change my rating because my wife has just installed a freshness seal on my Busch Ice.
Oh.
So my rating is now an 11 out of 10 for style and a 12 out of 10.
I'm not changing it.
You know what's more offensive than like the 9/11 jokes? It's fucking Greg with his taxidermy ghoulish dead dog sitting on his shoulder right now, which is just fucking disturbing as fuck.
All right, so we got some interesting comments there.
It's PAX. It's Plush Max.
Paxidermy. It's Maxidermy apparently. So
it's Maxidermy. Yes.
Okay, so Eric Gilbert follows up and says the Busch he's talking about is made by Brasserie Dabuzen, something like that, also known as Scaldus. So I've heard of Scaldus. You should have just said Scaldus to begin with. You stop fucking with me, Eric Gilbert.
Fucking around.
And he also says it'll get you drunk. Chris agrees it's a little dangerous. It is true. It is such an easy drinking beer that like you buy the 8-pack of Tall Boys for $20, you're gonna be fucked up afterwards. Like there's no doubt about it. You're gonna be a little fucked up. Maxwell Star, this fucking douchebag Maxwell Star pipes in and says, "You'll be effing fat bees in no time." I don't know why you're censoring yourself. It's not like you're monetized or anything. And then Eric Gilbert says, "It's my beer."
It's my beer. Deep Blue Sea.
If you shotgun every beer, that's more than 2 days. That's like shotgun every single beer in that pack.
Yeah, he could do, like literally. I see these old drunks come out of the fucking NSLC at 9:30 a.m. They're in and out within like a minute. The store opens, they walk in, they get their Fax 10%, and they walk the fuck out. you know what they're doing with it. They're going to their bottle of hooch that they got in their car or stashed in a bush somewhere. They're fucking mixing the two things. Get yourself a fucking 8-pack. You've got more than a week's worth of your morning buzz just like fulfilled right there. You know,
That's
it's
funny.
just
So how much is the tall boys over there, Lee?
okay. So 8-pack of Tall Boys is $20 exactly at the NSLC, or $19.99 basically. So
You guys want to know how much it is in the States?
yeah. Oh, I imagine
I don't know
fucking
if I
cheap.
do. It's like
Three-
next to nothing.
30 pack for about $14 or $18.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, you can get. I think
30
it's.
pack.
I think it's sold in. Okay, so we get Busch Ice. The Busch Ice is only in the 8-packs, but Busch and Busch Light, we can also get like the 15 packs, I guess, and they're about $25 across the board. So
Disgusting.
It is disgusting. I'm gonna look at MGD here. For MGD itself, 12-pack of MGD I think is like $26 or something like that here, Canadian. And over there, I just jumped over the river yesterday and picked up 12 MGD for $10.
I'm trying to think if there's anything cheaper than like Busch and the 15 packs at the NSLC. Maybe old style Pilsner. Maybe
the Bucka beer.
No, if you make hooch, contact Lee. He will review your hooch.
There's a whole series like
won't.
James Reddy 6. I think is as cheap as Busch, but I'd rather drink
McClay's?
this
Is
than Busch
McClay's
versus
cheap
James
too?
Reddy. I would think it is. There's only one place where I can get McClay's in New Brunswick, and that's in Salisbury, and it's in like a 40-pack or something.
wow, they still sell McClay's.
40 pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get McClay's here.
Well, yeah, it's an Ontario thing, but all right. So let's go over to the Les ratings, which I will share my screen again, and the boom. There you go. There you go. So Busch Ice, 7.25 for the style. Overall, 5.83.
Jesus.
Which,
What happened?
you know, considering it's a shitty macro beer, it's not. That's pretty good rating, really.
No, I think that
It's accurate.
yeah, that sort of works out.
Oh, you said it matched ABV.
Yeah. Well.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Well, I picked an
Oh.
American picture, so
Yeah, so, okay, hold on.
It's not the worst thing to crash and burn on this day. So it's
What is the ABV on everyone's beer? Jesus.
6 here.
beer Jesus.
6. Okay.
Which, if you're listening to the history, I told everybody that.
Well, yeah. Who all has? Does anyone have like the American version? Because I'm assuming we'll have the
Wow.
Canadian
I'm
version.
assuming
do we?
Ashley has mine that's 5.5, right?
5.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really? You get a 5.5?
Yep.
5.5.
Weird. What do you
That's
hate?
actually high for a Sexton, Mark.
well, we got to throw all the fucking ratings
wasn't
out
my
then because
part.
we all have the different beer. We
Different
got to
fucking
throw it
beer.
out. We got to throw it out. This is not valid anymore.
I'll check my other 29 that I bought.
Yeah.
So what did you do, Chris? Did you go to the States and buy it?
No, mine's
Out
still
of
here. Beer store.
To be fair, Ashley's
Here.
just grumpy that he froze his testicles off at the outdoor mall. This
I am grumpy today.
Jesus.
But yeah, no, it's 5.5%.
Weird.
Wow.
That's a good
Yeah.
movie too. What's that movie? They are playing on the mountain and they eat each other.
Oh, alive.
Alive.
Oh yeah, Alive
Stay alive.
soccer team or something that crashed in the Andes back in the 80s. But the movie came out in the 90s. I remember watching that movie when I was
70s or
14.
80s, one or the other.
Each can of Busch Ice here in the beer store was $2.30. One can.
That's actually sort of right in line with Lee's.
Yeah, 26 and a quarter for a 12-pack.
So that's the real question. If you crashed in the Andes and you had a bunch of teammates, you're in a soccer team, you had a bunch of teammates on the plane with you, and the option was either drink Busch Ice or eat your teammates. Which one would you do?
I
Are
would
we
eat
taking-
it or wash it down with Busch Ice.
Wait. Are we
Yeah.
are we talking?
We
Are
got
we
a steak.
talking? Wait. Are we talking the barely legal version or the meat version?
Mead?
The barely legal version. I don't know. I didn't say teenagers.
Yeah, is he talking about having sex with underage
Burgers?
Oh yeah, no, don't try to draw me into your weird porno fantasies, Guy.
Why is it Dallas?
You're already part of it.
I guess I am.
Where's that be?
You know, looking at all the cheap beers that I can get in New Brunswick, I'm actually looking at that. I can get Busch, Busch Ice, James Ready 6, Keystone Ice, Miller High Life. Miller High Life is $22.49 for a 12 pack. I would buy that over this. But Busch Ice is not bad.
You say
well, Miller High Life would be Miller High Life is a superior beer to this, taste wise, and it would be a better like all day drink kind of thing because you wouldn't get super drunk super quick.
Oh yeah, if you're looking to get drunk, this is a better beer.
Yeah, no, this is utility alcoholism right here is what this beer is.
And
I
that's
don't
the
know
thing,
now. At 5.5,
it's only 5.5 here. So
Oh fuck,
I'm thinking it
24
was
a
6.
flat of Busch right now is $32.99 in New Brunswick.
I missed most of the Triple X though. That was good too. That's fun.
Dry ice.
You some of those you can still buy in Quebec in fucking gas stations. Fucking Nick and I can attest to that shit. We saw that big wall of weird fucking like ice beers and shit that you don't see anywhere else.
There's like 3 different versions of Labatt Blue Ice.
Yeah.
There's like 8.1, 10.1, 9.1.
Yeah, I tried all
like
those.
Molson Dry 10, Molson.
Last place I live at, I think I tried all 3 blues. It's all the same.
yeah, back in the late 90s when I was
go to
in high
Quebec
school,
and you buy that shit.
Oh yeah, cheap too. It's like $4.95 for a big fucker.
Ashley's talking now. Shiver and shut up.
Sorry, let's all listen to Ashley. What do you
yeah,
say?
all I was gonna say is like back in the late 90s when the whole ice beer thing sort of hit, and they were just all the different breweries were pumping out all of these like ice beers. I mean, that's all I drank when I was in high school, and I specifically remember one called Molson Ultra, and it was like a blue can, and it had like a dragon theme to it or some shit, and then.
I tried that.
It was like 6.5 or 6 something, and then the Triple X that you guys were talking about, that was like, whoa, I was like, that's a little bit too much. But I mean, yeah, like this type of beer just sort of brings me back to those days when you're just trying to get the cheapest with the most amount of alcohol and just letting her rip. And back then, I think my go-to for that purpose was the frickin' malt liquor. And out in Calgary, we had this malt liquor. We had Old English, but then we also had Big Bear.
Big Bear
malt
Big
liquor.
Bear, it's riding tough.
Oh man, we would
Big Bear.
Big Bear.
we'd go through
Now
those big
now only sold in gay bars.
exactly. You
Wow.
got it.
All right, yeah. I mean, the one when it comes to all those ice beers in the '90s, the one I really wanted to try was Maximum Ice because Michael Ironsides. That was a fucking badass commercial back in the 1990s.
Yeah, with the skullet
Like the
going
fucking
on
Highlander shit going on. Time for an ice
Oh,
beer.
I remember that commercial.
there. Maximum Ice. Michael Ironside when he was still young and not fat.
Oh, he was always kind of a little fat.
No, he wasn't.
What was his name and what was his handle in Top Gun?
Was he in Top Gun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the bad guys or something, was he?
Oh, was it? Oh.
I gotta
Not
watch
like
that movie.
bad, like one of the. He was another pilot, but he was an asshole.
Yeah.
Are we thinking Val Kilmer?
No.
No, you can't mistake Michael Ironside for Val Kilmer. Like, what the fuck are you even doing?
I'm
Although Val Kilmer has gotten fat, to be fair.
Yes.
Yeah, you could mistake Michael Ironside in that video for Val Kilmer now.
He was Jester.
Now he's
Yes,
thin.
sir.
Now he just art with his penis and
He was
everything.
Jester in Top Gun.
Man, a modern picture of Michael Ironside. He looks like Hank from Breaking Bad. You know the.
Yeah, he does. He's getting up there. He's an old man now.
Yeah, either that or like more like was it Bob Newhart? Look at this. Anyway,
Yeah, Jesus, yeah.
all right.
He's still more badass than the other.
So yeah. So do we want to finish off with some comments here, and then we'll get the hell out of this
Yeah.
shit?
No, you know what? We haven't.
Straight to bed.
Okay. Oh, not that comment, but where were we? So,
So
ABV. What is this? Ontario show?
Well, I was gonna read them. Like
Go
I was. So Eric Gribble says I got to be fucked
Mhm.
with. Yeah, indeed. Redbeard's in here. Who cares what he has to say? Fuck him.
Mm-hmm.
Basement
Cheers,
Broham says Guy would be a plane crash poutine. Eat that French first.
Jesus.
Wow,
Oh, jeez.
racist, fucking racist, Jamie. Really racist.
Who's gonna eat me?
Jamie's saying that you would be poutine. Like that's I feel like that's really racist. Eric Gilbert says, "I like the high life, baby. Ain't no MGD."
That's like 2 blowjobs so far.
Chris says he probably tastes like orange candies, and oh yes, Molson Triple X, and then off tense like asks. So someone asked, "What's next week's beer?" Come on, let's get it going. Real time live chat. Someone throw that in there really quick.
Nick,
we
what's
go
next week's beer?
Cold 45.
No. Come on.
St.
Still
was.
waiting. Jeez,
Ass motherfucker.
you try to boost like community engagement here, and this is
St.
like,
was apricots.
I guess this,
Oh,
it's a good day for us
Hey,
to crash.
oh,
Redbeard came through. Next week's beer.
Next
and
week's
then-
beer. I don't even see the comment here.
And then Jamie said next
That's
week's
fair.
beer as well. We got
Oh,
two people
There
asking.
we go.
So.
Okay, so we got Redbeard. Let's leave Redbeard out because we ignored him so far. Next week's beer is what I'm not sure Lee can get or anybody can get. This is.
I can get it.
Come on.
You can jerk off alone with that
There
beer.
we go. Propeller IPA from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Which
I'll be
you can
watching
still get
my
in
hair.
Ontario. We're going to do it while we still can. And Chris says he's washing his hair. I know Ash has already got a can. Greg can get one. Not sure about Lee.
Oh.
Ashley might be washing his hair though.
Anyway. Yeah. So, Propeller IPA next week. It's funny because I'm actually going to Nova Scotia on the weekend.
It's not funny.
But, yeah. Anyway. All right. So, let's go to the after chat. I want to thank everybody for watching so far. We got Jamie, Redbeard. Who else is in there? Eric Gilbert. And Matt Sabiri is in the chat earlier. Sorry if I missed anyone. And of course, tonight's panel, which outnumbered the people commenting. We had Chris, we had Ash, we had Greg, we had Guy, we had Lee. B, thanks for watching, thanks for participating, and we will come back on shortly with the after chat and do next week's beer next week. So tune in next time. Peace. Penis.
You mean Nick in October.
PP.